accountability sometimes gets a bum rap. I think it gets confused sometimes with responsibility, which is a duty to complete a task, dependability, which is doing what you say you're going to do. All accountability is answering questions about what you did or sharing.
This podcast is brought to you by Hey Taco, the only peer-to-peer recognition platform that uses tacos to help teams around the world share gratitude. I'm Doug.
I'm Una.
This is our podcast, Amazing Teams. Jason Piasecki, welcome to the Amazing Teams podcast.
Thank you for the opportunity, Doug.
Of course.
Jason, we're excited to have you here. For everyone listening, Jason graduated from Central Michigan University, where he earned degrees in marketing and graphic design. He's currently a partner and CEO of Revel, a Muskegon, Michigan-based marketing agency. Jason is a recipient of the Muskegon Lakeshore Chamber of Commerce Entrepreneur Award and a Rotary International Paul Harris Fellow. Jason is a diehard baseball fan who loves his Detroit Tigers. The Piasecki family vacations revolve around attending games at different MLB parks around the country. They've been to 21 so far and counting. So before we get into the topic of amazing teams, what's your next ballpark on the schedule?
You know, our kids are getting busy. They're all in college now. And last year was the first year in about 10 years that we didn't hit a ballpark. My son had finished a long season of summer baseball, and my daughters were wrapping up their jobs. So we missed out last year, but, you know, looking at next, we're either Atlanta, which is pretty quick, easy flight from Michigan, or taking a bigger trip out to Seattle. That's one that we're excited to go see. So we've got 9 more left, and I hope we hit them all.
Jason, one thing that I found on your Revel website is that you hardly can make it out of a meeting without using a baseball metaphor. So I'm excited to hear what all baseball metaphors we'll get to hear today. But let's dive right in. How do you build a team in 140 characters or less?
This is a great question. So I looked at it through the lens of Revel and wanted to go, I go right to our values. What I would say is caring about your teammates, clients, and community, having a can-do attitude, and living our humble, dependable, helpful, curious, and hungry values. So that statement combines our mission, which is making a difference for our clients, our community, and our team, and our values, which we came up with by looking at the people at our company, saying, you know, who best embodies the type of agency that we want to be.
That's great. Jason, can you tell our listeners a little bit about Revel?
Yeah, Revel's a business-to-business marketing agency. We're located in Michigan, as Una said. We work with B2B companies to increase their brand awareness, generate quality sales leads, and attract the right employees. Our team right now is 15 people between our core employees and our dedicated contractors. We have an office in downtown Muskegon, which is a great industrial town with a proud lumbering history and booming tourism industry nowadays. We are a hybrid company. We're in the office, everyone, 3 days of the week, and then 2 days work from home. So I love the flexibility. I come in all the time, but being able to give that option to people. But being a creative agency, we find we really do our best work when we're here in person together.
Jason, on your LinkedIn profile, you said that coaching this team is the best job in the world. Can you tell us more about what does coaching this team mean to you?
Well, I think it's not about managing or hierarchy. It's really about coaching. You know, I've had some great coaches throughout my life. I played baseball all the way going up through Little League, high school, and junior college. And the ones that left the best impression, I'm very self-motivated. And I find that there's really no other kind of motivation. You know, somebody is either gonna want to do something or not. You can encourage them, you can put them in a position to be successful, but ultimately it's on the individual to take advantage of the opportunity. And, you know, so I do my best to understand people's strengths, leverage their strengths, and see what we can do to help them out with maybe some of the things that might be more challenging. And, you know, when when you're right, I cannot leave a meeting without talking about baseball. And I write a weekly email to the team. And every Monday, I call it Monday Morning Revelations, and I've done it for over 5 years. It's chock full of baseball analogies and stories. And we have a new team member, and she's from Germany. All these baseball stories, I feel like they're I have to take an extra level of care to explain them to her, because she doesn't know baseball. She was a big handball player. And so I took the time. The first thing I did is I Googled, and I'm watching handball videos to actually understand what it is. And I think it's really looking at how you can meet people on ground that they're comfortable with. When I was coaching, I think that sometimes you want to put players in a position to be successful. And you can't ask someone who is a great average hitter that hits for contact, puts the ball in play to go up there and hit home runs if it's not what they do. So really understanding where people's strengths lie is, where I like to start. And that's how you build a well-rounded team.
Fun fact, Jason, my mother is a handball coach and my sister is a professional handball player. So if you ever need any connection between handball and baseball, happy to help. Every time they come to America, they ask, what is this game about and how does it work? Going to the baseball game with them, it's pretty tedious because I have to explain everything and I don't even know it that well.
Well, I could definitely use some handball help, and I think that would get me some cred with Celine here in our office. So if you want to slide me some on the down low, maybe I'll work that into one of my emails.
Can you tell us more about those emails, the Monday Morning Revelations? What got you started? What are you trying to achieve, or the point of those emails?
What got me started is I had a mentor named Roger Spellman who led a healthcare system here in West Michigan. He's one of the most gracious people and generous that I know with his time. I took a leadership class that he was a speaker in, and he was giving out books. And somehow I got the book. I think it was Getting Things Done by David Allen. I just thought it was so kind that he took the time first and came to this little local leadership class, talked to all of us. And just afterwards, I went home and I talked to my wife, Tracy. I'm like, I met this awesome guy, gave me this book. And she said, really? She said, that sounds great. And I said, are you gonna ever talk to him again? And I'm like, gosh, I felt intimidated. But I reached out to him and I said, hey, would you like to have coffee? Fun fact, I don't drink coffee. So whenever these coffee meetings, I always drink hot chocolate or something. But he accepted. So we went out, we had a coffee, and he just talked and listened. And he gave me a book of, I forget what he called them. They were like Sunday thoughts or something that he would send out to his leadership team. And I said, could you put me on that list? So I started getting the emails, and I thought, well, that would be a way for me to share either what's going on at the company, maybe something with our vision, mission, our client win, just talk about something in our industry. So they're usually I try to keep them to about a page. So I write them pretty religiously every Sunday. That's kind of my Sunday morning routine. God bless Gmail. I schedule them to go out at 8:00 in the morning every Monday. I found that I'm very habitual. So when I read Atomic Habits by James Clear, I'm like, this guy is talking about me. First of all, he's a college baseball player. Secondly, it's like these tiny 1% changes that add up and make a huge difference. So that's what I hope with the emails is if, maybe they spark an idea or a passion in somebody that they might not know is there.
That's great. Jason, you'd mentioned a couple times the values at Revel. I'm just curious, can you give our listeners a little peek into what the values are there at Revel?
Yeah. Being an EOS company, entrepreneurial operating system, it's a great framework for business. And we've done some other operating systems in the past, but this one has really helped us get traction. We've been implementing it for the last 8 years. And one of the things that you start with is you do a 2-day annual planning session. And when you get into it, it's one of the areas is about values building, because we've always had values. And they were usually dictated from the top down. Like either my partner, Andy, and I we'd say, hey, this is what the values of the company are, or we want them to be. So we're going to tell the team what Revel's about. And what's great about EOS is they flip the script on that, and you take your ideal team members and you say, what are the characteristics that Beth has or Danielle has or Pete? And then you go through and you just say, you kind of list them. You say, well, gosh, Beth is totally dependable. Anytime she has a project assigned to her, it gets done on time, every time. And you just start making a list and you'll be like, yeah, who else has that value? So we did that. And we went through that exercise as a leadership team, but it was all based on our team, our employees. I'm also a, Patrick Lencioni fan. So anything that he writes, I like those little fables. I call them plane readers. You can read them in a flight, 2-3 hour flight. And I read The Ideal Team Player, and he had a couple of them. The ideal team player, he said, is humble, hungry, and smart. And I'm like, well, gee, I like some of those. And so humble and hungry turned into two of our values that when we were identifying team members just came up. We got like Sarah, she is our VP of sales and marketing. She is a go-getter. She thrives by closing business. And we're Midwesterners. So we kind of believe in the humble brag, not like we're not showy. My son who plays college baseball, they're a little different. They do their bat flips and watch their home runs. Like we didn't used to do that back in the day, but that's a game nowadays. So that's all right. So humble and hungry made our values list, dependable, and then curious, having a curious mind, a growth mindset, not fixed, not like I know everything. So I'm always learning. I've owned my own business in one form or another for 25 years. I've been partners with Andy for the last 18 with Revel. And I love learning. I love like someone gives me a book, I'll read it, I'll listen to it on audio when I'm walking. And then the last is just being helpful, just being a good teammate, passing the baton, giving a coworker the information they need to be successful and to do their job. Because we work in marketing, it's fast paced. There's a lot of moving pieces. If there's a chink in the chain, the next person is not going to be able to do their part. And then, we might miss a client deadline, which, that's, you only get so many chances, and people will
3 strikes to be exact.
Yes. So yeah, perfect. You got it. There's probably a handball analogy for that too. But yeah, so that's really humble, dependable, helpful, curious, and hungry are our values. And we have them on the wall in our conference room. So we talk about them often.
That's cool. I sent Una a Slack message a week or so back saying, I want to redo our values. And it was something that comes across my mind because the values that we currently have are the values I created before I started to build a team. And so now I would love to include the team in creating our new values. So that's something that I'm looking forward to doing in the future. And I think your approach is kind of aligned with how I envision doing it.
Well, it's a great way to do it. I have fun with it. And I really love, we have all kinds of little things around the office, just like visualizing when we have stuff. So it just doesn't sit in a drawer and be unused. So we have our mission on the wall and we have a little TV by it that shows photos of our team. We have a customer code. So we try to put stuff on people's desks so they can see what it is to keep it top of mind. Because as digital as we are, sometimes being analog is invaluable. If you see something sitting on your desk or on a wall, it can just be a good reminder of, what the company stands for.
Jason, what about when your team grows? So now I'm getting into the tactics based on what, Doug's Slack message, but this is something, a true question that we're thinking about. So let's say your team is 10 people, you implement EOS and you create your values. What if your team is now 30 people? Do you redo your values as your team grows? How do your values grow with the team or not?
That's a great question. And, one of the things, whether it's EOS or another operating system, is regularly taking time away from the business to work on it. So we do quarterly leadership retreats. We do either weekly or biweekly department. They're called level 10 meetings. It's just a hour and a half meeting to talk about creative or sales and to bring the group together. So we revisit our values every quarterly meeting offsite, and we say, are these values still true? Does it apply to our company? So, that we haven't changed them, that we've had these ones for 4 years, but I think certainly as we grow and change and evolve, we ask that question critically, are these values still applicable?
That's great. I'm curious about your team there at Revel. Any kind of details you can share with our listeners around things that you're doing to inspire the team and keep them motivated?
Well, the biggest thing we have done in recent history is last Giving Tuesday, which is the Tuesday after Thanksgiving, we did a 24-hour marketing marathon where we gave our services free of charge to a deserving nonprofit. Could have been a for-profit. We had over 30 companies from around Michigan apply. We wanted to make it Michigan-based. And so people submitted an application, and we vetted those applications. We had a committee. We narrowed it down to 3, and then we did a company vote. So each person on our committee said, this is this nonprofit I'm going to talk about. And then we did a live vote. And so we put the poll up, everyone got their phones out. And the one that we picked it was amazing. It was a nonprofit called Girls Build Kalamazoo that focused on giving young women in underserved communities the opportunity to learn about STEM or careers in construction with real hands-on experience, building houses, real estate, really dynamic founder. Her name's Twala Lockett-Jones, just an amazing person. So we got together, and we've never done this before. And fortunately, I have a peer group of agency owners from around the country, and we meet twice a year. We have one in Canada too, so I don't want to leave him out. So we get together, and a couple of the other agencies, they had done this give back thing. And so we had an agency friend, Mary Verdon, out in California, and she got on with our team and said, here's how we did it. Here's what we learned. And so we had this template that we could apply. And it was, without a doubt, it was nerve-wracking. It was intimidating. I'm like, are we going to be able to do this? Because this stuff that we were doing in 24 hours normally can take 3 to 6 months. So we were doing a marketing strategy. We were doing a complete rebrand, new logo, tagline, brand messaging, website, videos, billboards, digital ads. We did a ton. Fortunately, we picked the right client. Twala was amazing. She was on site with us. We had people from the community donating. We had a hotel donate a room for her, other people donating food. And we just went through the day. And we started, and I was also nervous about staying up for, it's not just 24 hours, it's like 32 hours. That was a lot. I have not done that since college. And we made it optional, but the entire team was there, and they gave back, gave their time, and we pulled it off. And I'm biased, but I feel like what we did was amazing. But most importantly, it was transformational for our team. Like, we did this work. I remember afterwards, I've been in marketing for almost 30 years, and our creative director, Pete, is about the same. And he said that was just the most incredible thing I've done in my career. And so being able to have that opportunity and make the difference. And then we had the girls come in for the reveal, and they were so excited to see themselves on the billboard or on a website. So that was a great thing. And so we've then now I try to do experiential team building, like stuff that we can do together. And that gave us all kinds of new ideas for how we do work. And we took some of those ideas we called it Good Tuesday, and we've applied that to client stuff now. So that was a fun thing for both culture and values, and for team building and transformation.
I remember you sharing that on LinkedIn, your Revel account, and I thought it was so neat. It's such an amazing thing. And this reminds me of our last podcast conversation we had with Malia, who's a volleyball coach, and we asked her about practicing values, what's more important, the team stuff or the on the court stuff. And she said, the game of volleyball is the best practice we have for living our values. Like, this is where we teach them, this is where we practice them, this is where they come to life. So your giving challenge sounds like this was the best way to practice team building, is to do the work that you already do together, right? Not just go to go do whitewater rafting or go on a beer tour or whatnot. You did work together to donate to someone. What a great way to practice being a team, doing what you actually enjoy doing.
Yeah, and it was a lot of fun. It was hard work. It was fun. It was rewarding, and that's our jobs on a daily basis. So it was a great experience. I'm so glad that we did it, and everyone bought in.
That's so cool. I'm curious around the experiences. That's something that I've always been interested in, especially around rewarding a team. There's a lot of discussion around monetary rewards and experience type rewards. What's the energy like after the team does something like that? Do you see an uptick in engagement and mood and just anything you share around that?
It was invigorating, exhausting. I remember after, I'll probably have this picture in my mind for the rest of my life. Afterwards, we were just beat. We did the reveal. We started at 9:00 in the morning the day before. We did the reveal at 9 the next day. The girls came up. Kalamazoo was about an hour and a half away. They took a bus, came in, and after everything was done, they left about 10 a.m. So everyone's going on 30 plus hours being away. Yeah, a couple people that slept under their desks, but that's okay. Like they got done, they were here. And we just sat around in a circle. And it was like a virtual campfire in our break room. We had a couple adult beverages and we just reflected on the day, and the people naturally went around and shared. It was no like me saying, "Hey, what do you think about this, Cindy?" And people just shared their feelings. So it was this bonding thing. And it's one thing like to talk about collaboration, but when you get put into a system where there is no choice but collaboration, and you have to have the logo designed and the copy written to hand off to the person to build the website and the video there so it can all be placed, and the web developer there available. So we're like all working together. Otherwise, if one piece failed, it wouldn't have worked. So just that afterwards, reflecting on it, it was incredibly rewarding. It was humbling because it's like, we have built a company that people will do that and give of their time and their talent to do something like that. And that's a fun team to be part of.
That's great.
What do you find to be the hardest aspect of building a team?
Differences in personalities. There's behaviors and there's personality. So your personality is how we are. I have blue eyes. I can't change that. That's how I was born. A behavior is what you do. Self-awareness. I'm constantly working. I'm a work in progress. I think everybody is, but I know I have my faults. There are times where I can be black and white, and I need to be more gray, learning to listen, to get feedback, understand people's perspective, because I'm in disc, I'm a high D, I'm a straight, I'm get to the point. But I know that other people, they might be a C, where they just need to understand why before doing something. So rather than just jumping in and saying, we need to do this because this is why, explaining the strategy, the thought behind it. So leading with empathy, that's something I'm always working on. That's one of the challenges. And also, being a smaller company, 15 people, if you're in a huge company with 1,000 people and a couple maybe they're upset or something's not going well, that's not a big deal. If you're a 15-person company and 2 people are upset, that's huge. That's a big part of your company. And so those situations, they need to be addressed and talked about right away, openly and honestly. And I think always understanding people's perspective, assuming positive intent, that everyone has the best interests of not just the company, but our clients in mind and each other. And that goes a long way, but it's not easy because, people are different. They have different motivations. So I'm always trying to learn in that way, understand what makes people tick and what their motivations are.
Yesterday in our co-working space in Alexandria, Virginia, 3 of the 4 people of our team were there. And Una made a point, 75% of our team is here. To your point about, the 2 people on a team of 15. Yeah, you're going to feel it. And just like we felt it yesterday, having one person not there, 25% of the team not there. Yeah, it makes a difference.
When the weather's nice, like right now, we'll have our daily stand-up meeting outside on the patio with our sunglasses on. Sometimes it feels like, is this real life? Like, do we get paid to do this?
I know, it's awesome. Nice. That's why I think the world we live in is, the flexibility to work remote, but also to come together. And regardless of where, a company is in that continuum, I think those in-person things, you can't replace building relationships and in person. I do my best to encourage that with our team too, because getting outside of our four walls is one of the best ways to learn.
Jason, as you look forward into the future toward your hopefully Hawaii trip coming up with the whole team, what are some things you're looking forward to working on as a team in terms of things that maybe you haven't developed yet, skills you haven't developed as a team that you want to work on?
I think the biggest thing is always listening to what our clients need, but not being beholden to that, to come to them with new ideas. Because that's when you work in a creative space. They can be, new ideas for how they communicate their brand or drive a campaign, or maybe some tactics that they haven't thought of, things that really didn't exist in the past. Taking those and practicing our curious value and learning about them. We might not have run a LinkedIn campaign for a certain type of industry, but being able to dig in and embracing that challenge. I'm a super huge fan of accountability, and I think accountability sometimes gets a bum rap because it gets confused sometimes with responsibility, which is a duty to complete a task. Dependability, which is doing what you say you're going to do. All accountability is answering questions about what you did or sharing. So that's what I really love, is when someone takes, that LinkedIn campaign, they share what they did. They talk about the result, whether it's in our stand-up or in our Slack channel, or they throw out some tacos for the campaign and for the person that did it. And they use that opportunity to share that information, because I'm sitting here staring at my computer all the time in my office, and I'm not walking around hearing that stuff. How am I growing, and how am I getting better? So I think always looking at not just new technologies, new tactics, but what do our clients need? Coming out of COVID, it was how do we attract and retain quality employees and people that fit our culture? And where companies are very good at branding their products and services, they don't always look at branding their culture. And every company has a brand, whether they know it or not. And so those were some of the most enjoyable projects coming out of COVID, is how do you get companies to talk about what they do and to share. And if it's a manufacturing company that might not typically do that, they might keep their cards close to their vest. But that whole idea of employer branding and talent attraction marketing has been something that our company has really taken, because it goes to our mission, which is making a difference for our clients. And our clients can't ship, whether it's a microcoil that goes into a pacemaker that is saving someone's life, if they can't get someone to show up for work and do the job and to do it well. So, not just new tactics, but new ways to help our clients. But the only way we know that is by listening to what they need and then coming and sharing, maybe new ideas that they haven't thought of before.
You mentioned throwing tacos away, which is a great segue to my question around gratitude. As our listeners know, maybe most of them, maybe some don't, but with Hey Taco, you have 5 tacos to give each day. And you can give those tacos to recognize someone for something they've done, or to simply just show your appreciation. Who are you giving your 5 tacos to today, and why?
I love this question. And one of the things I like best about Hey Taco is you get 5 new tacos every day. So I'm going to keep this one personal. So I'll save my work tacos for tomorrow. But first, it's going to go to my wife, Tracy. She's been in this with me since the beginning. We're about ready to celebrate our 25th wedding anniversary next month.
Congrats.
Yes, thank you. She's an amazing mom. We work together. She's an invaluable part of our team. She cares about the company and the people the same way that I do. And she only wants the best for everyone here at Revel. And, the fact that she does it and still is just out of this world mom to our children I'm so thankful. So Tracy gets the first taco. Then from there, I'm going to go to my kids. So I have 3 kids. I have twin girls, Emma and Grace. They're both college students, and Emma just earned her undergrad degree, and she's getting ready to attend physician's assistant school in the fall. She's super compassionate, caring, and is out there either volunteering or working and helping helping people with, really some challenging medical situations. I just admire that. I don't have that gift. My other daughter, Grace, she's studying to be a biomedical engineer, and she has already taken 2 trips to Germany through her co-op. She works for a local company that has offices all around the world and in Germany, and they've sent her over twice. I've never even been to Germany. I haven't been to Europe, and she got on a train, plane, and cars, Autobahn, got everywhere. I'm just blown away. And she helped her company. She led their ISO certification, which is super impressive for a 21-year-old. Then my son, Aaron, he's wrapping up his 2nd season of junior college baseball, and he's heading off to play Division I baseball in the fall. And just on the side, Una, as being a college athlete, that's a full-time job in itself. Then you have to go to school, which is another full-time job. But he just started a wood bat business on the side. He just played in the wood bat league last summer, and he's like, yeah, I'm going to figure out how to make these. And so he did it, got a lathe off Facebook Marketplace. He's making them for all his buddies, selling them on the internet. So they're using social media. So it's just amazing that he finds time to do that. And then last, my mom, Donna, who she's my role model. And she has stepped into being president of our local Polish festival, which my dad had started before his passing. So she's stepped into that seat, and she's just doing an incredible job. So I not only admire her for doing that, but she did a pretty okay job, I think, with me, and my sisters are great. So I was fortunate. I have great family, great parents, and just an outstanding support system.
That's real touching. I've got little goosebumps on my arms. Well, Jason, thank you for being on our podcast. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, my pleasure. I really enjoyed it.
Thank you so much, Jason. One of the greatest things about running this podcast and Hey Taco is we get to meet awesome businesses and awesome people around the world. So it's really fun to get to know you and learn more about your team.
Well, thanks so much. I appreciate it, Una.
Thanks for listening. One of the important things about building a team is gratitude. If you're looking to add more gratitude into your team, check out heytaco.com. We are clearly biased, but it really does work. Use the code AMAZINGTEAMS to receive 15% off for the first 3 months of your subscription.